Dean Obeidallah, co-executive producer of the annual New York Arab American Comedy Festival, joins Kimberly and me here in our New York studio. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
You know, I got the Revolution Muslim website up here, and one of the things they have a little sign in the upper left: "May Allah make a mushroom cloud over Israel." I mean, this is crazy stuff, and the website's still up.
It's on. Well, they're unbelievable. They're obviously not only not a mainstream group. We don't even know if they're Muslim, to be quite frank. One of the leaders of CARE said he didn't know if they were really Muslims, if they were a smear group.
The Congress of American Islamic Relations.
Right, exactly. And that, you know, there are questions about who they are. Are they really converts? Are they not? I mean, there are 15 people. How did, to me, my question is, how did anyone find them? How did someone find, did they have a publicist that sent it out to Comedy Central and said, hey, we're doing this thing? There are millions of websites, literally, in America. So I have no idea.
What is permissible with satire? Like, Jews are very sensitive, Catholics are very sensitive, but nobody threatens to murder someone because of a joke.
And I think nor do mainstream Muslims in America do that either. I'm a comedian. I'm an advocate of freedom of expression. You should have every right to say anything you want. There are consequences, but not life or death consequences, such as protest, you know, boycotts by sponsorship. But I mean, people have paid the price. Bill Maher talked about, you know, after a short time after 9/11, lost his show on ABC for talking about the terrorists at least being courageous in his terms. So there are consequences to freedom of speech, but you should have no censorship whatsoever, no prior restraint, of course.
So what do you say to groups like this? And they're not advancing the cause or tolerance, religious tolerance of other people's viewpoints as well. When they're making threats like this, it's not a good move for them.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible for us. As Muslim Americans, these are people we don't want defining us. We do not any longer want to be defined by the worst examples who happen to share our religion or our background. That's not who we are. And even when there was a cartoon of the Prophet, there were no protests in America burning things down.
Sure.
I mean, we know the difference. I mean, we're in America. We all value freedom of expression. We want the right to talk about things like anyone else. And it's a right that I cherish very, very much.
But what about the threat of radicalism? Does that make you shy away as a comedian, saying, you know what, I'm going to pump the brakes on this joke. I'm not going to go there because I don't want to get this threat or be threatened to be killed or assassinated?
I've never worried about the threat of death for a joke yet. There's no joke that
I've told one that bad.
That's right. I mean, I've told jokes. I've had people like the audience
really
say
bombs.
Stuff. I've had some tough shows. Don't get me wrong. Some people I think wanted to kill me, but no one. I've never written a joke. But any joke, someone's the butt of the joke. Someone's going to be offended. I was just in New York performing before I came here. I'm sure some people didn't like anything that had a point of view. That might be a political joke they don't agree with, or a social commentary they don't agree with. That's life. You can't live your life worrying to please every single person in that audience. You're not a comedian. You know, comics, I think, some of us have an obligation to challenge the audience. I mean, I'm inspired by people like Richard Pryor. Look at Lenny Bruce, almost went to jail, was arrested for freedom of expression in the 60s in America.
You know the difference? After Theo van Gogh, the Dutch humorist and writer, was murdered, brutally murdered, and there have been several other attempts against other artists. That kind of violence really casts the pale, and it does have a tendency to smear an entire community. I mean, that's the problem right now.
I agree with you 100%, and I think, you know, the Muslim American community is doing their best to get more and more media savvy, to get on TV, to talk about it. The leader of CARE, one of the leaders, denounced this. I mean, it's something that has nothing to do with Islam. I mean, these guys are out there advocating violence, even a veiled threat.
You know, a quick joke. Can you give us a quick joke?
I can do a quick joke. I mean, what kind of joke do you want?
Don't do a Muslim joke.
A 30-second Muslim joke.
I don't have, but I just performed in the middle. I was just in Saudi Arabia doing jokes. Literally,
you did Muslim jokes in Saudi Arabia?
Well, not Muslim jokes about us. They like. I mean, joke about how much they love cigarette smoke. I went to the gym. There was an ashtray and a treadmill. I mean, people love smoking.
That's awesome.
How Arabs love to talk during the movies. They love to guess the ending, and they also love to tell you what they just saw on the screen. And Arabs
sound a lot like Puerto Ricans.
I love it, right?
We're just a minority. We're just like any other minority.
Thank you, man. Good luck with your career.
Thank you.
Very funny.
Yeah, thanks so much for being with us tonight.